Welcome to Two Cents We See Scary Movies, the podcast where we cozy up with horror films and remind you that home isn't always where the heart is. Sometimes it's where the psycho with the axe is hiding behind your shower curtain. I'm Talon, the one who triple locks every door but would still be the first to get dragged into the attic because I went to investigate a weird noise without backup. And my co-host is Dan, who would 100% booby trap the house Home Alone style, but forget where he put everything and take himself out before the intruder even gets inside. This week, we're continuing our Home is Where the Horror Is theme with He's Out There, a movie that dares to ask, what if your remote lake house came with scenic views, a sinister children's book, and a full-blown psychopath playing arts and crafts with human body parts? Let's get into it. All right, so the movie opens with a young girl reading aloud. She's reciting what sounds like a poem or maybe something from a children's book. It's about a mouse who's just out living his life, having fun, joyful day. And then suddenly this big black crow swoops down and tells him that the darkness hides in the light of day and says all this ominous stuff. And the mouse is like, oh, you're crazy. Anyway, while she's reading this story, this little girl, we see a series of unsettling images. There's a lake house, an SUV crashed up against a tree, sitting unevenly at an angle, then a car by the lake with the trunk open and the end of a machete sticking out, dripping blood. There's a rope on the...
Nothing you would typically see in a children's book. I mean, let's face it. I mean, who's writing this book? Jason? Michael Myers?
That would be funny if someone, like, quote unquote, authored a book by Jason or Michael Myers or whatever, and it's a children's book. That'd be funny.
Right.
It would be this book.
It would be.
There's a rope on the porch and blood there too. Then we see drawings on the ground, clearly made by I say clearly made by a child because it looks like they're made by a child. They're kind of written in crayon or something, drawn in crayon. The wind picks them up and blows them away, but we catch glimpses, and one of them looks like a person with a stab wound or a gunshot to the chest, and another shows two kids on a swing, and one looks like a maniacal face. Then the scene shifts to a little girl sitting in a car reading from a book. She's reading the same story about the mouse and the crow. Meanwhile, we see the mom, Laura, outside packing up their SUV. There's another little girl running around, practically in traffic at one point, but she's got a doll and she's drawn all over this doll with a marker, and she says it's her zombie doll now. And I guess she's trying to be scary. I don't know what she's watching, but
Yeah, she's weird.
Yeah, she's a little weird. As Laura finishes packing the car, she calls out to her husband, Sean, who's inside the house. She says, hey, it's your last chance to say goodbye. He comes out, apologizing profusely for not being able to join them like they'd planned. Turns out he has to meet with a client who's only in town that day, so they make plans for him to come later instead, and he says that he should arrive around midnight. Then Laura and the girls head out.
Yeah, at first I thought they were fighting.
Yeah.
Like the way they're interacting, I thought they were fighting, and like it was a situation where she was taking the girls and leaving.
Yeah,
because the way she's like, oh, well, maybe you'll get there later then, or something like that. Like the way she said it was like, oh, they're fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this a divorce? Is this separation?
Right. That's the real horror.
Right. Because honestly, I thought that was the setup of the whole thing.
Oh, right.
But I was wrong.
I was too, because I kind of had the same feeling. So Laura and the girls take off, and eventually they make it to the lake house. To get there, they have to drive down this really long, winding driveway that cuts through the woods. At the end of it, they come to a gate that's closed, chained, and padlocked. Laura gets out and tries the key, but it's not working. Then, suddenly, a truck pulls up and a man gets out. His name is Owen. He tells her the tumblers in the lock get stuck. I don't know how he knows this. Like, does he just go in there on his days off? Like, how does he know this?
Right.
This isn't his property.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea.
So he says that they get stuck sometimes and you have to mess with them a bit. So he walks over, bangs the padlock against the gate several times, and then gives the key a turn and it opens. He then goes on the story where he's explaining that first he says his family is the only one that lives there year round. There used to be two other families, and the one that lived in Laura's current house had a son named Johnny who went missing years ago. Owen says Johnny was about his age. After that, the family was so devastated, they sold the place and left, and no one's seen them since.
Poor Johnny.
Yeah. Laura thanks him and starts to head off toward the house. But Owen walks over to the car, looks in at the girls, and asks, is it just going to be you and the girls? The girls pipe up, no, Daddy's coming. And Laura quickly adds, yeah, he's right behind us, actually. They kind of do this, I guess, to make you think that Owen is this creepy, weird guy
Yeah,
because it did have a sense
right.
of creepy weirdness to it.
They're really doing a relatively decent job at trying to throw a few things at you to make you think, oh, maybe it's this guy, maybe it's that guy.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so they're definitely throwing out the suspects.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Could be Dad, could be Owen, who knows? Or Johnny, whoever Johnny
You
is.
never know.
You never know.
Johnny Five.
Laura Laura gets the girls out of the car and starts unloading. The girls run off into the yard straight down to the dock because of course they do. It's a lake. And of course, Laura tells them to stay away from the water. And of course, they say okay, even though they're already standing on the dock right by the water.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was a kid once. I did that too.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you're right by the lake. Of course, you're going to go to the lake. So, as Laura's unloading the car, she gets a call from her husband, Sean. We cut to him. He's at some gas station or picking up gifts, probably in this kind of mea culpa way. Here are some presents for me not coming at the same time you did, even though I'm going to be
Right.
here just a few hours later.
Buying their love.
Yes. He tells her he's on the way and says he should be there around 11. She tells him she forgot eggs and asks him to bring some. She hangs up, then tosses her phone back into the car. Laura heads inside the house and starts unpacking and putting things away. Meanwhile, the girls run off to the swings under this big old tree house that's there. After a while, they jump off the swings and one of them notices something off in the woods. She points and says, "What's that?" Because there's red yarn or string stretching between the trees.
Yeah, it's really kind of like very much out of place. It's not a naturally occurring.
Right. It's one of those because we have a lot of those here, the naturally occurring
Right.
strings just
Right.
wrapped around all kinds of trees around here. It's really hard
Yeah.
to get around.
It must be.
How long did you think they owned this house? Did you have a feeling about this house, like they owned it for a while?
I thought it was like a vacation home,
That they
to be
had,
honest.
that was
Yeah.
theirs. Yeah,
Yeah.
because there are some things that they talk like when Owen says somebody used to live in this house that you have now. I
Right.
was like, "How do they not know this story? How is this the first time they know this story?" Then later on, something
Right.
else comes up, and I'm like, how has this not happened yet?" Like,
Right. No,
what?
that's a good point.
How does
Because they would. I mean, if there was that few people, they would know who Owen is
Right,
if he's been there forever.
right.
And because he's so free with the story, they would have known the story already.
I would think so. That's one of the
Huh.
parts that was one of the holes of the story, this movie that I was like, "It's weird, unless they've owned it forever and just never used it," but they had to have used it because just in a little bit, I'll get to where the daughter doesn't like the playroom. She thinks it's creepy, and they hadn't even been in the house yet, so
Right.
she already knew it was creepy. So they've been there before. So I don't know how they didn't know Owen and how they didn't, know other things. Anyway, so
And how they survived the last time.
yeah. Right, exactly. How did they survive the last time? How does this not happen before? It's
Right.
why is it just happening now? Although, I guess technically it is explained a little bit, but up until they explain it, I'm like, "How do they not know any of this? Why has this not
Right.
happened already?" Anyway, so where was I at? The trees and
The
the
trees, the
the
string, the
string,
naturally occurring string.
naturally. Okay, and which is funny because the first 2 words of my next sentence are, "So naturally." So they spot the red string stretched between the trees, so naturally the girls decide to follow it. The string is tied to several trees and winds its way deep into the woods. As they go exploring, we cut back to the mom, who's upstairs changing clothes. She glances out the window and realizes she doesn't see the girls anymore. So she gets a little worried. She's concerned. She heads downstairs and starts calling their names. She's walking around inside the house looking for them, I guess, even though they were outside. Then she hears a noise out on the deck. Turns out it's just the girls hopping up the steps like nothing happened. So she brings them inside and takes them upstairs where she already has their pajamas laid out, which I thought was weird because it seems really early. I don't know. I mean, they're young girls, but I don't think they're that young. As she's getting ready to go back downstairs, she notices Kayla, the older daughter, putting something in the top drawer of her dresser. Laura stops and asks what it is. Kayla says it's for Daddy. Laura's like, "Well, let me see it." And Kayla doesn't respond. Then Laura jokes, "Well, I hope it's not alive." And Kayla goes, "Nope, it's not alive." So the next scene, we see Laura sitting on the couch with the 2 girls. Maddie, the younger one, is curled up next to her while Laura reads. Well, they're both curled up next to her. I don't know why I looked at the one. Anyway, they're both there. Okay. While Laura reads from that same book, the one with the mouse and the crow. You can tell they've had pizza. The remains are sitting out. Maddie's looking sleepy. Her head is resting on her mom's shoulder. She says she wants to go to bed. Laura says, "You don't want your pizza?" She obviously didn't eat any of it. And Maddie says, "No." And then Laura's like, "You haven't finished the story." But Maddie says she just wants to go to bed. So Laura lets her go. She keeps reading the story to Kayla. and then flips to a page that stops her. On this page, someone has drawn a crude stick figure style sketch of the bottom of the tree house, the part where the swings hang down. In the drawing, there are two kids on the swings and an adult pushing them, looks like a woman. Laura asks Kayla if Maddie drew it, but Kayla says no, it was already there. And Laura just goes, "Oh, really?" with a sarcastic tone, like she's not
Yeah, like
buying
she
it.
doesn't. Yeah, doesn't believe her.
Right. And I don't know if I've made the distinction, but Kayla is the older of the daughters, by the way. Maddie's the
Yes.
youngest. In the next scene, we're back upstairs in the girls' bedroom. Laura's tucking Kayla into bed. Maddie's already in bed, of course, because she went up earlier. But Laura walks over to check on her. She notices Maddie's kind of sweaty and asks if she's hot. Then she gently pulls the covers to help cool her off, gives her a kiss goodnight, and heads back downstairs. Once she's gone, Kayla turns to Maddie and quietly asks, "Are you okay?" Maddie just turns her head to look at Kayla, then rolls back over without saying a word and goes to sleep. Downstairs, Laura's in the kitchen. She pours herself a glass of wine, hops up on the counter, and pulls a small box down from the top of the cabinets. Inside is a single cigarette and a lighter. She grabs them along with her wine and heads out to the porch for a little alone time. While she's out there, the house phone rings. She goes back inside to answer it. It's Sean. He asks if everything's okay and says he's been trying to call. That's when Laura realizes she left her phone in the car. They talk for a bit, and he tells her he's more than halfway there, so he'll be there soon. She mentions how beautiful the lake looks and adds that she left the gate open for him because the padlock's jammed and hard to open.
Do we know how far away they are from this place? Like how far away he is versus the wife at this point?
You mean like how far their home is or how far he is?
Yeah, like how far away do they live from this vacation home or whatever it is
It
that
seemed
they're.
like it was hours. Maybe I had the feeling like 5 to 6 hours. Like
Okay.
the way it was laid out, it seemed pretty far. And at this point, I get the feeling that there's about 2 hours left for him to get there, maybe 1 or
Right.
2 hours. He was close, but not super close
Okay.
at this point, I got the feeling. So he says, about the jammed padlock that he'll take a look at it when he gets there. They say their goodbyes, and Laura heads back towards the door because it was a portable phone, so she had walked outside. So just as she's about and I guess she doesn't wanna bother with the cigarette at this point, I don't know.
And
Just
that
as she
phone had good range.
it did, she walked all the way out to the dock,
Yeah,
didn't she? Yeah.
and most portable phones, you can't do that.
Yeah, well, it gets all
You,
scratchy and crazy
you-
for anybody that doesn't know how those things work.
you're lucky if you can go like into the next room.
Alright. So just as she's about to go back inside, she hears a crack out in the woods. She pauses, listens. There's another sound, another crack, but I guess she just figures it's probably just an animal or something because she shrugs it off and walks back inside.
Yeah, I mean it's probably a possessed wolf. Hello.
I had to take a moment. A flood of horrible memories just came back.
I mean, I was gonna say it wasn't that bad for that much dead air.
I did that for dramatic effect. Yes, it could have very much been a possessed wolf with it, but she would have seen the green eyes. I
That's
think she would have seen
true.
the green eyes.
That's true.
So, well, unless it's his first time. 'Cause the
Oh,
first time it doesn't
true.
have green eyes.
Right. It's before he gets possessed. Yes,
Right, right. He's still curious, but not curious enough.
correct.
All right, let's see. Where the fuck was I? After she goes back inside, we get a cut of a shot from the woods, a POV shot, like it's someone watching the house. You can hear them breathing heavy and creepy, and from their vantage point I'm sorry, are you meditating?
No, I was breathing creepily.
I guess you forgot all about Sissy already, just as everyone else has. Okay, so no one else has listened to that but me. All right, okay. And 2 other people that I don't know how that happened. Anyway, okay, so yes, heavy and creepy breathing. And from their vantage point what? Okay. Wait,
Heavy and creepy breathing from their vantage point.
right. And
Okay.
from their vantage point, like you can hear them breathing heavy and creepy, and it's looking from their vantage point. So you can see Laura
Gotcha.
yeah, you can see Laura moving through the house, turning off the lights from how whatever
Right.
their viewpoint is.
Gotcha.
Now, I don't know why she's turning off all the lights and getting ready for bed when her husband's supposed to be there soon. Like, he's like an hour to 2 hours away, and she's turning all the lights off and gonna go to sleep. Like, why? Like, you can't
She's
wait.
sleep. She's sleepy.
I guess. But she does it anyway. So Laura's asleep, but she's suddenly woken up by Kayla, who tells her something's wrong with Maddie. And Laura's in her bed, by the way, which I thought was, again, if you're going to take a nap, just sleep on the couch till your husband gets there. Like, I don't understand why
Right.
she went all the way to bed. Anyway, I was really bothered by this. I don't know why. So anyway, Kayla's like, something's wrong with Maddie. She's in the playroom. They rush downstairs because the playroom's downstairs. And when they get to the playroom, there's a kid's play tent set up in the corner. There's a soft light glowing from the inside of it, and you can just make out the top of Maddie's head. Now, Laura and Kayla are standing there staring at the tent, and this super tense music starts playing. There's a lot of buildup right here. Like, it's setting you up to think Maddie's head's going to twist around like The Exorcist or something because
Right. Or it'll fall
it's
off her body.
right. It's super intense, like really built up. And Maddie's like, she's going to do something scary and weird. Then Laura slowly approaches the tent, calling Maddie's name as she gets closer and closer. Finally, Maddie turns her head. It's not creepy or anything. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of buildup for nothing.
It's a kid.
Right. Oh
Although
my God!
that could be scary in itself.
Yes, yeah. And Laura crawls into the tent. She's touching her and seeing how she's doing. Because, of course, she's like sick and sweaty looking. Like she looks like shit. And then Maddie throws up. So the next thing we know, they're in the bathroom, all of them, all three of them. And Laura's grabbing I'm assuming a cold washcloth. She's putting cold water on it, I guess. While Maddie sits on the floor. And Kayla keeps asking, is Maddie going to be okay? Is Maddie going to be okay? And she's very worried. Laura reassures her, she's just sick. She'll be fine. Then Maddie starts coughing and gagging like she's choking on something. She's reaching into her mouth like she's trying to pull something out. And then Laura jumps in to help. She reaches in and pulls something out of Maddie's mouth. And at first, it looked like straw or grass.
Yeah.
It was like it looked weird. Like she ate a dandelion or something. And she sets it down on the floor, not really paying attention to it. Laura is still comforting Maddie, telling her she'll be okay. And then Kayla looks down at the thing that she took out of her mouth and she says, Mommy, what's that? Laura picks it up and it's not straw or a dandelion. It's a yellow ribbon. The ends are frayed, and that's why it kind of looked like grass or something. When she rolls it out, because it's all rolled up, when she unrolls it, there's a word written in marker set that says hello. She immediately asks the girls, did you eat something? Kayla says, I didn't. And then all three of them are just kind of looking at each other. And then Laura jumps up and tells the girls to stay right here. Then we flash back to earlier, back to when the girls were following the red ribbon through the woods. Now we see where that ribbon actually led them. It winds through the trees to a clearing where someone has set up a little tea party. And it's kind of funny because there's parts in this movie that I feel like are I don't know if they did it on purpose. It feels very intentional to me, but reminds me a lot of children's stories. Like, of course, this reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. And then even the red string, even though it's red string, it kind of for some reason made me think of Little Red Riding Hood going through the woods. I don't know. I
Okay.
guess because it's red. But there are parts of this movie that have this like children's stories aspect to it. I see. I lost myself.
But I mean, everybody loves a good tea party.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You know.
Set up in the woods, no idea how it got there, drink and eat,
And
whatever, it doesn't matter.
and my
It's gonna be safe.
question too, unless it shows it a little later, is how did the ribbon get in her stomach? I mean, like kids. I mean, she's old enough where she wouldn't be eating ribbons.
'Cause it does show later how she ended up eating this ribbon, and I think she was probably I got the feeling that she was maybe 6 or 7, and possibly Kayla was around 9, 10-ish. She probably should have felt it. Maybe she's like me and just likes a whole lot of shit when she's eating. So, I like a really full mouth. I'm with you, girl. I'm with you. Anyway, when they get through the clearing, they see that someone has set up a little tea party. There's a large tree stump used as a table and a couple of smaller wooden stumps to sit on. There's a cute little tea set. And on the table, there are 2 very nice cupcakes. They look like really good cupcakes. The girls are thrilled, super excited. They run over to it. Then we jump back to Laura, who's now run upstairs to the girls' room. She opens the top drawer of the dresser, the one she saw Kayla put something into earlier. Inside is the other cupcake. So now we know Kayla didn't eat hers, only Maddie did. Laura stares at the cupcake, and then Kayla suddenly appears behind her and says, I saved mine for Daddy. Laura turns to her and asks, where did you get this? And Kayla answers, in the forest. And I'm like, why would you eat just random food? Like they had no, I mean, I get they're kids, but
They were probably growing on the bottom of the tree. Somebody picked them.
Right.
and just put them on the table for anybody to come and eat. It's a
With a
community.
tea set that grew from the ground. Yeah.
Right. It's a community table.
Right. So now we see Laura laying Maddie down on the couch in the living room. She holds up the cupcake and asks, "Did you eat one of these?" Maddie shakes her head and says no. But then Kayla jumps in and says, "Yes, she did. She's lying." So, so finally, Maddie admits it. She did eat a cupcake and she says she's sorry. Laura tells her it's okay. Then Laura starts to open up the second cupcake, the one Kayla saved. And inside, there's this green goop, and within that goop is another ribbon that says goodbye. So basically, the ribbon was inside the cupcake. So when she ate the cupcake, she also ate the ribbon.
Mm.
And I guess he
You
just
would
assumed
think
she'd throw it up.
you would think that she would feel the ribbon.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's what I was saying. Like, you feel like she'd be old enough to feel it. But again, maybe she just shoved that whole thing in her mouth and was like, yum, yum, down the
I
hatch.
mean, I still feel like there'd be a little bit of chewing involved because, like, a cupcake is pretty big, especially for a 7-year-old's
It was
mouth.
a huge cupcake.
Unless she has a way of eating it like a snake and, like, unhinges her jaw.
Or maybe she's like a professional, like, have the professional hot dog
Oh,
eaters.
true,
Yeah, she
true.
could be a
Yeah,
professional cupcake eater. She
that's
could have some
true.
sort of, contest that she partakes in
Yeah,
the last
touche,
2 or 3
tou
years.
touche.
So Laura immediately goes to the phone because when she sees this goodbye ribbon, she's, like, freaked out. Naturally, I would be too. Laura immediately goes to the phone, probably to call 911, but the landline isn't working.
Oh, no.
What?
How did that happen?
Can we ever have a movie like this?
No.
Which where there's some kind of, because this is, I would consider this a slasher type thriller movie, whatever. But a movie like this where they don't cut off the phone,
Right,
please. Although I guess nowadays, typically you wouldn't cut off the phones because they're all cell phones, but you have the cell
right.
phone jammers now, which has replaced the cutting the phone line.
Correct.
So, because we had that in the other movie we did.
Yeah, you're next.
You're next, yeah. Kayla's asking, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" Then there's this loud thud. It eventually turns into what sounds like someone running across the roof of the house. Kayla starts crying, "Mommy, what is that?" Laura realizes she's going to have to get her cell phone out of the car, so she runs to the kitchen and grabs a knife, then heads to a window and tries to look outside. But of course, she can't see much with the lights on inside the house, so she turns the lights off. I'm glad I at least figured that out.
Right,
I That's one of those things that drives me nuts sometimes because when you have lights on and it's dark outside, you can't see outside. You have to, like, get
right.
way close to the windows.
Yeah, I was gonna just reiterate what you were saying, that you become a sitting duck.
Oh, yeah, because everybody outside can see you inside. And it's the reverse during the day, where during the day you can see outside. Now people can somewhat see inside, but it's a little harder because they have a glare coming off the window. But it's something that sometimes they don't catch when they do these movies, but I'm glad they did in this one. So the girls panic. "No, no, no." And Laura tries to calm them. "Hold on, hold on. I just need to go to my car." She slowly makes her way to the door, and the process of her getting from the front door to her car is drawn out and full of tension. It's a really long time to get to her car. It's pitch black outside with only the porch light casting a bit of a glow. She hears some crackling noises in the woods again. Finally, after what seems like forever, she runs to the car and opens the door, but her phone isn't there. It's not where she left it. She searches frantically, digging through everything. Then she hears this eerie childlike laughter. Then that's when she notices something in the back seat, shiny pink wrapping paper. She looks around, then grabs it and starts unwrapping it. Inside is Maddie's doll, the one she marked up and turned into a zombie. Someone wrapped it like a gift and left it in the car. At that point, Laura sprints back into the house. She scoops up Maddie and yells at Kayla, "Come on, come on, come on, we've got to go." But Kayla's frozen in fear. "No, I don't want to go outside. I want to stay in the house." Laura's panicked. "No, we have to go. We have to go now." Kayla begs.
This is where I learned that I can't stand Kayla. It's like everybody needs to move, but no, I'm stuck here. I can't move. I'm too scared. Fine, you're gonna be left behind. See you later, kid.
You can stay there by yourself. Like,
You had a good run. We had some good times.
it's nice
Yeah.
knowing you see a kid. Yeah. But so she's just continues to beg, "Carry me, carry me." Now she's like 10 years old,
Right.
at least. I mean, the other one is smaller, younger, and sick. So she's already carrying her. And Kayla's like, "Carry me, carry me, carry me." And Laura's like, "I can't carry both of you." And honestly, that makes sense because, like I just said, Kayla's like 8 years old. Maddie looks about 5, 6, somewhere in there. Kayla's probably 10. But neither of them are toddlers. So
No.
they're big enough that carrying both isn't an option, especially when you're in full adrenaline mode and one of them's sick. So carrying the younger one made more sense. Eventually, after much convincing and much whining, Kayla pulls it together and follows her mom outside. They rush toward the car, but just as they're almost there, someone smashes a window. There's that demonic childlike laughter coming from the woods, and now all three of them are freaking out. Laura gets the girls into the front passenger seat, then runs around to the driver's side and jumps in. She gets the car started and begins backing out of the driveway. But as she's reversing, the car suddenly starts getting wobbly and makes this horrible clanking sound. And then both of the side tires, I think they're on the maybe it was the driver's side
It was
tires.
the driver's side because when
Yeah.
she got out, the car was at an angle where the driver
Yeah.
door was down.
Right. So driver's side tires come flying off. The car slams up against a tree and is tilted to the one side. So now the car is stuck. One whole side is up in the air because there's no tires on the other side.
So I do have to admit on this part that you often have that trope of, vehicle not starting or something
Right.
happens to the engine. I have to admit that was a little bit more ingenious because you don't have other horror movies that think about taking the lug nuts off of.
Right. Yeah. I did like
So
it too. Mhm.
so it was a nice change. I mean, they still use the car breakdown trope, but they at least made it
Uh,
different.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Although they do have the car trope that you talked about a little later for like a brief second, which I thought was kind
Yes.
of funny. And I was wondering if they did that on purpose because they didn't use it before.
Right.
But, because it was just a brief moment. Laura quickly gets the girls out of the car and they all run back to the house. Back inside the house, Laura gets the girls settled on a rug. I think it's in the kitchen, dining room area. And then she starts running around, checking that all the doors are locked and the curtains are closed. She goes back over to the girls and notices that Maddie has some marks on her neck. It looks like she's breaking out in some kind of rash or maybe having an allergic reaction to something. Maddie's also struggling to breathe. So Laura asks her to take a deep breath, but it's really hard for her to do. She then gets some water in a glass and tells Maddie to drink it to see if she can swallow. She can. So then Laura leaves the girls again and runs upstairs to the bathroom to get some Benadryl. And of course, when she opens the medicine cabinet and pulls it out, she's in panic mode. And when she opens it up to get some, she spills all but two of them down the drain of the sink. So good job, mom.
Thanks, mom.
So she runs back down to where the kids are. She crushes up the Benadryl, ugh, and mixes it in with some water. I don't know how that girl got it down, but then gave it to Maddie to drink, which she did. Kayla asks, "Where's Daddy?" And Laura says he should be here really soon. And that's when they hear this banging on the house. The banging continues as Laura cautiously walks toward the sound. She creeps along until she reaches a window, pulls the curtain aside, and there's a photo taped to the window. It's a picture of the family, but all their faces are torn up and scratched out in this really messed up way, except for Laura's face. Her face is left alone.
Yeah.
Bashan's and the girls are mangled. I don't know. I was like, oh, there's got to be something to that. And I tried to see if I could figure out, and I watched this twice to figure out why he kept her face unscathed. Like he didn't scratch out her face at all.
Maybe he likes to crush on age appropriate women and doesn't want to diddle little kids.
Maybe. Could be. But I was like, there's nothing but there was nothing significant in the rest of the movie that made it so that, whether it's because she's the mom or maybe because he likes her or I don't know. There was
Yeah,
nothing
it was just one of those things where they introduced it into the movie and they did nothing with it.
right. They should have just scratched them all out. She tells the girls to go upstairs. Go upstairs right now. She's like, oh my God, what the hell? And she grabs her knife and follows them because she gets this big kitchen knife. Upstairs, she's helping the girls get their shoes on. They're asking about the photo, how it got there, why their faces were cut out or messed up. And Kayla asks again when their dad's going to be there. Laura reassures her he'll be there soon. When he gets here, he'll take us to the doctor and get all the bad stuff out of Maddie. But Maddie's not looking so good right now. She says, I don't feel good, and then throws up again. She apologizes, and Laura comforts her. It's okay. It's not your fault. I beg to differ. Let's be real. It is kind of her fault.
Right, the
Like,
whole thing.
she has no control of the guy outside, but she did eat a sketchy forest cupcake.
Right, exactly. And honestly, if this was a zombie movie, you'd be taking her out by now
Right.
because the bitch is
Yeah.
turning.
Yeah, she's turning. She's done. Like, just shoot her in the head, stab her in the head, cut her head off, whatever. She's done. All because of a fucking forest cupcake. Laura tells them they have to leave. They can't stay there. Maddie needs help, but Kayla's panicking. She doesn't want to go. She wants to wait for Dad. She wants to stay in the house.
She's a daddy's girl.
Yeah. Then Maddie starts staring off to the side in this weird, unsettling way. And she says, "But he's already here." Laura freezes. "Who's here?" Maddie answers, "Dad." Laura's like, "Where is he?" And Maddie says, "Under the tree."
Right, and this is where you start thinking it's like a supernatural movie.
Oh, right. Because this little girl's a little weird.
Yeah.
As I'm telling it and you're not watching the movie, it may not seem like she's weird, but she's pretty weird,
Oh, yeah,
this girl
absolutely.
in the movie.
100%.
She's a little creepy. And they don't go anywhere with it, but she does come off as a little creepy. In this part, she was weird. It was like, how could she see all the way over out the window and across the, because it was a little bit of ways, and then the tree, and then there was some guy standing a whole story
Right.
below them by the tree. So, I
And
don't
I
know.
was gonna say, and they were on the second floor, so
Right. Yeah. And it just, I'm like, how did she see this? So anyway, it's daddy. So under the tree. So Laura walks over the window because she has to walk to the window to see him. Little girl didn't.
yeah, I mean,
Like, okay. So she walks over to the window and looks out, and yep, there's someone standing on the tree, but it's not daddy. It's a creepy guy, all dressed in black, wearing a mask. You can't really see his face at first, but then he steps forward just enough for us to realize it's not Sean. And then he slowly waves at Laura. Maybe he's just a friendly guy. He's like, hey, he just wants somebody to wave. Say
right.
hi to him. That's all. He's cool. She yanks the curtain closed. Kayla asks, was that daddy? And Laura's like, no, bitch, it's not daddy. Jeez, way to fake a mother out.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I think that's all this person, like, this whoever wrote this movie, that's all I can think of. Is it daddy? Daddy?
Right.
You have daddy issues, okay? I mean, this entire section, is daddy here? Is daddy? Where's daddy? Oh, there's daddy. Hi,
I want
daddy.
daddy. Right. Then who did you see? Laura doesn't answer. And then we get this lingering shot of the book they were reading earlier, which is called Darkness Hides, which actually I kind of dug. Did you dig the book? I liked the book.
Yeah, the book was kind of cool.
I want to know if I was going to look up and see if it's a real book, and I didn't, but it should
Well,
be.
what's it called?
I don't know if it's a children's book though. Darkness Hides.
Let's just take a look.
All right.
Well, it is a book, but it's not that book.
Oh, okay. All right. So they're lingering on this book, which is the one with the mouse and the crow that was being read earlier. And just beneath the book, etched into the wooden table, is the name John. Ooh. Which, by the way, I forgot, was also etched on the wooden part of the gate at the front of the house when they first got there, but nobody saw
Ooh, back then.
it. So then we cut to Sean. He's finally made it to the gate, but it's locked, even though Laura said she left it open. He tries the padlock, but of course the tumblers are jammed, just like before, and Owen isn't there to help him. That's when he notices a red string tied to the far end of the gate with a handwritten note that says, "Follow me," which again kind of reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. He's tired. It's late. He's clearly not in the mood for games. He gets back in his car, grabs his phone and keys, and calls Laura. It rings a few times on his end, but then he hears her phone ringing from the woods nearby. Finally, someone picks up, but it's just heavy breathing on the other end. Or not even heavy, it's just regular breathing on the other end. And he's like, Laura? There's no answer, just the breathing. He's basically over it. He's like, I'm tired. I don't want to play games. Let's just go back to the house. Still nothing. So he starts following the string into the woods. Eventually, he finds a tea party set up, similar to the ones the girls saw, but it's in a different spot. There's a little table with, well, it's not a table, it's a tree trunk with teacups, a teapot, and Laura's phone is sitting right there in the middle of it, and it's lit up. And Sean's confused, and he's like, what the hell's going on? Then he shines the light from his phone ahead of him, and that's when he sees them. There are 4 life-sized, what looks like wooden figures dressed like a family, clearly represent Sean, Laura, and the 2 girls.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, the heads look carved out of wood, and they're posed like they're sitting at a nice little family tea party. And at first, I thought the whole things were made of wood. It didn't dawn on me how that would be a pain in the ass to do until later. I was like, oh yeah, that would be hard. But the heads are definitely made out of wood. While Sean's processing all of this, we cut to a shot of the masked man. It's a closer look now, but still dark. He's leaning his head up against the tree in this really bizarre, almost dreamy way. Like it's not threatening, it's almost affectionate, like he's in love.
Right, like, oh, look at my family.
Yeah, it was weird. And his mask that he's got on, it reminded me of fuck. What's his name? From
Really?
Yeah. It
I
reminded me of
that's a new kink.
it reminded me of what's his name from fucking Harry Potter? The bad guy.
Oh, the name that we should not say?
Yeah. 'Cause
Um,
just the way the
Voldemort?
mouth, yeah, Baltimore. I was like, "What the fuck is his name?" Okay. So, it reminded me of that, just the way the face was, the mask was. But he's just leaning his head up against the tree, like, literally, it's tilted against the tree, like, "Aw." It just was weird.
Right.
There's a couple things that he does in this movie that kind of ruin his mystique for me. And that was one of them. But in his hands, he's holding a big ol' axe. Then we go back to Sean, and now we can see the masked man creeping up behind him. Back inside the house, Laura's trying to keep it together for the girls. She's sitting with them, coaching Maddie to slow down her breathing, helping her stay calm. She starts telling them a story, reminding them of when their grandmother got sick. She says grandma was really brave, and once they got to the hospital, the doctors gave her medicine, and she got all better. So if they can just be brave now, Daddy will be here soon. They can go to a doctor and help Maddie out. But then another loud thud from above. This time it sounds like footsteps again, like someone is actually walking across the roof. Laura grabs the girls and the knife and slowly walks out of the bedroom into the main part of the house. She's trying to listen, trying to figure out where the sound's coming from or maybe where it's going. I wasn't really sure. Now
Right.
it sounds like something's being dragged across the roof. Eventually, they make their way downstairs into the living room or the dining room area, whatever it is. It's hard to tell. And they're still tracking that dragging sound above them. Then there's a knock at the door. The girls scream. Laura pushes them back behind her, and then they hear a voice. It's Sean's voice, and it's Laura, Laura, what are you doing? It's late. I've been driving all night. The girls say, It's Daddy. And Laura hesitates, and she's like, Sean? But something's off. He keeps repeating kind of the same things word for word, the same stuff he had said earlier when he was on the phone trying to
Yeah.
call her in the woods. And it's like a recording because he's not really answering her directly. He's not reacting to her questions as you
Right.
appropriately would think he would respond. It's just like on a loop or something. And then he's like, Laura, can you just let me in? The girls start to move toward the door and she pulls them back. Laura walks toward the door, still calling out to Sean, trying to get a real response, but nothing changes. His voice just keeps playing and not really responding properly. She opens the door and steps outside. There's a rope hanging down from off the edge of the roof, and tied to the rope is some kind of, I couldn't really tell if because it looked like more than just his phone. It looked like there was it was like a speaker or I don't know what it was, but it was a device where the voice was coming from. It was just playing Sean's voice from what he had said when he was on the phone earlier. And attached to it is a handwritten note that says, I'm home. She walks closer, trying to understand what she's looking at, and suddenly the rope gives way, the device falls to the ground, and then something heavier, maybe a rock, seems to fall with it as well. Then something really big falls. It hits hard. Laura crawls toward it. She's clearly panicking because she pretty much knows what it is. She turns it over. It's Sean. He's dead.
Oh no.
Yeah. So unexpected. It's his eyes are gone. He's clearly been killed and staged there as part of this dude's game. So she breaks down crying over his body, and then suddenly she looks up and sees the girls at the window looking out. And they're calling to him, Daddy, Daddy, because that's the only Daddy is the
Right.
only
That's the only
line
thing that he can say.
that they could say. She screams, No girls know, and rushes towards the house. She barely gets the door shut before they can open it and go out there. But she also left her knife outside. She had the knife in her hand, but she sat it down when she went over to Sean, so the knife is out there too. Inside, the girls are crying, It's Daddy. And Laura's trying to convince them, No, no, it's not Daddy. She huddles them together on the floor, holding them close, doing her best to comfort them, telling them she's going to keep them safe, that she won't let anything happen to them. And of course, they're crying, It's Daddy. We want to see Daddy the whole time. And then click, the power goes out.
Oh no, not one of those tropes.
Yes, one of those tropes. So Laura decides again that they've got to get out of there. She's having a really hard time figuring out which way she wants to go. In, out, in, out. It's back and forth the whole time. This time, she knows they can't go through the front door. I mean, their dad's dead body is lying right outside, so there's no way she's dragging the girls past that. She tells them they'll go through the back. She asks Maddie if she can run. Of course, the girls are panicking again. We don't want to go outside, but Laura's firm. We have to go. Just hold on to my jeans and stay with me. We'll be fine. She grabs another knife, opens the back door. They slip outside. As they make their way through the yard, they pass the tree house with the swings that the girls were on earlier, and they notice something. There's movement. Something is swinging. They look closer, and it's the two life-size girl dolls that we saw in the woods with Sean in the Sean scene. They're now sitting in the swings. And in the center, hanging from a rope, is the mom doll, and she's hanging there like she's been lynched, swaying back and forth. And then suddenly, eggs come flying at them. They're being pelted from the woods, and they all start freaking out. The girls are screaming, and Laura's trying to shield them. And I'm sitting there thinking, it's just eggs. Like, what's the worst
I
that
mean,
could happen?
it's rude and annoying, but you can
Right.
walk away from it.
Yeah, I mean, if this is the worst thing that that guy has going on right now, just run.
Right,
Go. Run
you're
to the
doing
road.
good.
Yeah, don't go back inside. What the hell? It's just eggs. But nope, they panic and they run back into the house. Maybe there's an allergy. I don't know. Anyway, so the girls are yelling again. They don't want to go back outside. And Laura reassures them, okay, okay, we won't go back outside. I promise. She starts shoving furniture in front of the door. She puts a love seat and then she drags over a stool and like puts it up underneath the door handle. She's checking locks, just, full on survival mode, I guess. While she's doing this, Kayla runs to the other room by herself and then comes back with that book they had been reading with the mouse and the crow, the one Laura thought Maddie had drawn in earlier. And Kayla holds it up and says, Mommy, he drew us. And that's when Laura realizes this guy has been here this whole time watching them because the scene that was depicted in the book of the kids on the swing with the mom in the middle was what they saw basically out at the swings just now. And then bam, something comes crashing through the glass on the door. It's At first it was hard to tell what it is, but it looks like a body, but it's not. I think it's just it's one of the wooden figures that he's made. But it looked like something mummified, but it was just the wooden doll. The
Right.
girls scream, Laura screams, and she yells, "Go upstairs, go, go." She throws more furniture against the door, the front door this time, before sprinting up after the girls. They all rush into Laura's room and lock the door behind them. Laura gets down on the floor and looks under the door, checking for movement in the hallway, and it all kind of just hits her at that point in time, everything, and she starts crying and she's overwhelmed. And the girls gather around her, hugging her, and they whisper that they want to go home, and she promises we're going to go home soon.
He must not have good life insurance.
Right.
I mean, if she's crying that hard.
That's what she's actually crying about.
I told him he should have upped it.
As she's comforting Maddie, she strokes her hair and finds an eggshell. That's
From the eggs pelting them? Weird.
that's when it hits her, though. The eggs. The guy got them from the car because she had asked Sean to pick up eggs, which means the car is still there. Well, no shit. Like, okay. I don't know where else it would be. So she lights up the car, right? So now she's got a plan. She tells the girls they have to hide. They obviously hate this plan. They don't like it at all. But she puts them in the closet and tells them not to come out until she gets back. She gives them a little glowing stopwatch and says, and I don't know where she got that from. Anyway, she gives them this stopwatch that glows. And she said, I'll be back in 20 seconds. I mean, 20 seconds. I mean, could you just, I like, you're going to have to move, honey. Like 20 seconds. I thought that was a little short. She should have gotten a little bit more time. But anyway, she's going downstairs. She's going to go downstairs, go across the yard to a corpse to dig out car keys. But okay, whatever.
Right.
She's gonna do that in 20 seconds. So girls, of course, are panicked. Don't go, don't go. She's like, I gotta go. So she closes them in the closet, runs downstairs, heads out the front door, gets to Sean's body. She digs in his pockets and finds the keys. Then she runs back inside. Meanwhile, the girls are in the closet whispering the countdown, 19, 20. It's tense.
It is.
It's super
Very
scary.
tense. Like, I'm tensing up just thinking about it all over again as you're saying it. I'm right there again.
But they're scared. And they can tell that there's somebody out there. And the door opens. It's their mom. Phew. What a relief.
Oh, thank God.
She's like, we're going to Daddy's car, she tells them. Kayla asks,
Of
is he
course,
here?
it's got to be Daddy's.
Yeah. Laura says, well, yes, we're going to go. Hold my hand. But while all this is happening, back out at the gate, Owen shows up. He pulls up. I don't know what he's doing out here in the middle of the night. I guess he forgot they were there and that he was just going to go visit their house like he did all the other times.
Right, and
But
just check on them. I mean,
I guess
it's
so.
an appropriate time of night to do this.
Yes. He pulls up in his truck and he sees Sean's car still sitting there from earlier. The gate's still locked. He also sees the red string. He sees all the stuff that Sean saw. And he's looking at it like it's weird. Back inside, Laura's getting ready to sneak the girls out when suddenly she hears something. More movement downstairs in the house. Doors are slamming, cabinets opening. Somebody's obviously inside. She starts screaming, get out of our house. She grabs her knife and yells again, get out of our house, get out of our house. Like she's screaming like bloody murder. Get the fuck out of our house. Then you hear a car horn. So the person in the house hears this noise and they take off. You can hear them leave the house. Laura closes the bedroom door, runs to the window, and sees a flashlight. She realizes it's Owen. She starts banging on the window, yelling, up here, up here. But the window, she's banging on it. And all this time, I'm like, just open the fucking window. But apparently the window's stuck. She does try to open it and it won't open. So she keeps screaming, up here, up here. And finally, she has a flashlight and she shines it out the window and he sees it. But he can't hear anything she's saying. He's yelling, I can't hear you. And she screams,
Right.
help us.
But it seems like that any other time,
Right.
people that far away could hear him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like
Okay.
in any normal setting, I think, because he wasn't that far away.
Right.
I think that, I mean, I don't know what kind of glass it is, but I guarantee you, if I were to stand in my house and yell out, not even yell at the window, just yell, someone would hear me, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
I mean, I hear people outside, so they should be able to hear me from inside.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So she's yelling, help us. And then she sees the creepy man and he's slowly creeping up behind Owen. So now she's frantic. She's like, behind you, behind you. And he's like, what? What? Still confused. So she breaks the window and screams again, behind you. Owen turns, too late. The man slams him in the head with an axe, just drops him.
It's because Owen wasn't listening.
Right. It was a bummer. I was hoping Owen would have a little bit more of a part in this movie.
Yeah.
But we do find out Owen's not the bad guy, even though they tried to make it look like he was. Then he turns and points directly at Laura, and he's crouched low, like, I don't know. He's in a weird squatty stance for some reason when he does this. I don't know why. Must be a horror thing because that's what in The Stepfather, the guy when he was shooting his gun, he was in a weird squat.
Yes, he was.
Weird squats are definitely scary.
For stability.
It's terrifying. All right. So Laura doesn't wait. She grabs the girls. They're going to make a run for it. They make it downstairs, and all of a sudden the power comes back on, but not just the lights. The garbage disposal kicks on, loud and jarring. Why? Who knows? I don't know. It's just on. Nothing about it really comes of it. It's unsettling, but that's about it. So then she sees Maddie's doll sitting on the book, but now the book has changed. All the original illustrations are covered up with drawings. His drawings, we're assuming that he drew all these with crayon like a child. They're of everything that's happened. The tea party, the red string, the car with the wheels taken off. Everything is like the creepy maniacal face. All those pages basically that we saw at the beginning of the movie that got blown away are what are on now either glued or taped over top of the other picture, the real pictures in this book. It's like some kind of crazy scrapbook or something. I don't know. So now Laura tells the girls, we have to go. So she's a liar, by the way.
Right.
She promised them they were not going to leave the house. And now here she is leaving again.
Yeah, here we are. Can't trust mom.
Nope.
This is why they like daddy.
Yeah.
Daddy didn't lie. He was just late. Mom lies and she gets people killed.
That's what it is. Okay, so she starts pulling all the furniture back away from the doors that she had put there before. As she's up against the back door, reaching to unlock it, telling the girls to get ready, and then bam, an arm comes smashing through the it doesn't smash the window because the window was already broken from where he threw that doll through. So his arm comes screeching in, I don't know, what's the word I want to use? Suddenly there's an arm.
Poof.
And it grabs her. And it's him, of course. He yanks her through the window. I mean, it seemed pretty easy. I felt like it was so easy for him to pull her right through that window, even though it's still kind of up high. I don't know. This seemed unrealistic to me, but whatever, movie magic. So he yanks her through the window, and just like that, she's gone. And the girls are left screaming for their mom in the kitchen, totally alone. I did feel like there was I don't know if a scary tone is the word I want to use. But just to imagine being two small children and this is going on and they're just left alone because it wasn't like they were teenagers. Yeah. These were little kids. I actually felt kind of ooh for them at this point. I was like, oh God.
Well, again, one of them I didn't care if they lived or died. Right.
Right. You got Kayla, the one that you don't care if she lives or dies, and then you got creepy Maddie. So
right. I would take creepy Maddie over freezy Kayla because I mean, when I need to leave a place in an emergency, I want someone to run with me, not a popsicle stick. I was just gonna sit there. I can't move. Fuck, you can't. Yeah, I'm bitter about that.
Okay, so All right, so they're there alone. So now it's up to Kayla to figure out what the hell they're going to do to get out of this. She walks over to the counter, grabs the big knife that's sitting there, and goes back to Maddie, who's panicking, and says, "Come on, we have to go. Daddy's out there." She's trying to convince her that they need to run to the car. Maddie's terrified and doesn't want to move. Then they hear the music. It sounds like it's coming from their dad's car. And Kayla's like, "See, daddy's here. We have to go." And it was playing some kind of kid song. I can't remember which one it was. Traditional kid song from like forever ago. She's like, "See, daddy's here. We have to go." Still, Maddie's scared. So Kayla does the only thing she can think of at this point for whatever reason. She hands over the huge knife to Maddie, the little 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid. She hands this
Right.
humongous knife. It's almost as big as she is over to the little girl. I was like, what? This is your plan? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And I thought for a moment that maybe Maddie would stab Kayla. I thought that was where we're going with this because it was just didn't make any sense otherwise. But I guess maybe Maddie just felt safer holding it. Either way she takes it. So the two of them slowly make their way to the door, step outside, and head to the car. But of course, no dad. Dad's not out there. Instead, they see presents that those presents that he bought, which were wrapped. He had the lady wrap them at the store. They're sitting in the back seat, still neatly wrapped. Then there's a thump, thump, thump. It's coming from the trunk. So they walk around, open it up, and there's their mom. She's tied up in red string, and it's all weirdly like the red string is like wrapped around her head in this weird, almost spider webby kind of way. And she's got tape over her mouth, and she's restrained. I think Maddie took the knife back from, or Kayla took the knife back from Maddie at this point, and takes this big ass knife. And instead of just ripping the tape off her mom's mouth, she tries to cut it off
Yeah.
with this knife. I was like, what are we doing? As she's trying to do this, you think, well, maybe she's going to get out of here. Boom, creepy guy shows up again. So he slams his axe right into Laura's side while the girls are standing there watching. He gets into the car, though, the front seat of the car, as the girls take off running, screaming, sprinting back to the house. And he starts chasing them with the car. So somehow they go. It was weird because they looked to me like when they were running because the front door of the house is where the dad is, right? I mean, that's
Yes.
where I imagine the
Yes.
dad
That's what
body is.
I assumed.
Yeah, but the girls somehow run around, go around the side of the house with the side door was, I guess, and then around the back of the house, and then all the way back around again because they go in through the front door. It was very confusing. I was not sure why that was that way, but it was
Maybe
weird.
John was moving him around.
Yeah, I guess the way he was chasing him in the car, they had no other way to go. I don't know, it didn't make any sense. None of this makes sense.
Yeah.
So they somehow make a full loop around the house and up back at the front steps. They're scrambling, tripping, crawling up the porch stairs or the front step stairs. And then there's daddy's body still laying there, still eyeless. The girls scream again, total panic. So they do the one thing that's definitely going to work in a horror movie. They run into the house, bolt upstairs, and hide under the bed.
That should help.
No one ever looks under the bed, ever. It's a proven fact. Never happens. So then, creepy guy, they're under there, shivering and shaking, breathing heavily. Kayla, the older one, puts her hand over Maddie's mouth in an attempt to try to keep her from yelling out, which doesn't work later. So, creepy guy does come into the bedroom and he looks around, checks the closet because that's where everybody's going to look because that's where everybody goes. So, yeah,
Right.
you go in the closet, nothing. Then he gets close to the bed, and we can see the way they have the shot. You could see the girls under the bed, and you can see the bed itself on the top of the bed. So you could see as he gets close to the bed, the girls underneath trying not to breathe too loud or make any noises. Again, Kayla's got her hand over Maddie's mouth, trying to keep her quiet. He sits down on the bed, and then because this is a horror movie, one of the girls lets out a squeak when I think it was Maddie.
Yeah.
She squeals when he sits down. This is enough for him to realize they're under the bed, which he probably already knew anyway. But instead of dragging them out right away, he starts talking. And this is the second thing that makes him lose total street cred for me.
It's because he starts talking.
Yeah. The first one was where he was leaning his head against a tree like he was in love.
Right.
And then he starts creepy, mysterious dude starts talking, which drives me crazy because I don't know, it just kills the mystique for me. I don't
Yeah.
if you're that kind of a character, don't talk.
No,
Just
I
stay
get it.
that way. Yeah.
That's one of the errors with Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I love those movies, but if you go back and watch the original, granted it's got its 80s cheese now, but back then, like if you went back and watched it, Freddy
Right.
Krueger was a lot scarier because he didn't really talk, and if he did, it wasn't like a normal voice. It was like a gravelly, like scary voice.
Right.
But
Yeah.
this guy's
And
just like, "Hey, how's it going?"
yeah, and he wasn't going on like this long diatribe of whatever. Freddie wasn't, but this guy, he goes into his whole backstory and blah blah blah, and it's like, all right, dude, like whatever with
Right.
your sob story.
It's like, I don't care about your parental issues.
Right.
So what? Mommy moved away and daddy
Yeah.
put you to work.
Although I do wonder if he killed his family. They never
That's
go into it,
right.
but I wonder if they did. I don't know, or if he did, not they did. So his voice is when he speaks too, because they show him while he's speaking at points, and it seems like it's very strange. Like his whole neck and lower jaw moved so hard while he was talking. Like his voice didn't sound overly weird, but he just looked like he had a hard time moving his mouth. So he tells them it's okay to be scared. He tells them his name is John. Woo, shocking.
Oh, wow. The connection.
I didn't see it coming. He said he says he grew up in the house a long time ago, and then while he's talking, he places this glass jar filled with some kind of liquid on the floor for no reason, because then he says something else and he picks the jar right back up. I don't even know why he put it down in the first place, if he was just gonna pick it up and unscrew the lid just to put it back down again. It was weird.
Right.
I guess dramatic effect. I don't know.
Maybe.
As he's talking, he's getting kind of philosophical. He's like, "I've always been here. You just couldn't see me." And then he tells them that the book, the one they've been reading, that was his. He says he got it, which again points to the fact they've been to that house before.
Right.
Because when she was reading the book initially, they were at their home wherever they lived, their regular house, and she had the book there. So they brought the book from this place to that place. So
Right.
again, I don't know how they don't know the backstory, or why this hasn't happened before now. Even though he says he's just been watching them. I guess he was waiting for the right time. He's saying that was his book. He says he got it when he was a little boy. He used to try to guess the answer to the riddle, but he always got the not the riddle, but he used to the way the book is written, the crow is basically saying stuff to the mouse about how darkness is always there. It's just during the day you can't see it. And he's going through that, and you know what it is. Like when he's telling, I'm like, okay, it's your shadow. Like I know what that is. Like I know what the answer is, right? But he says that he used to always try to guess what it was, but he always got it wrong, just like they did. And I was like, what? If you read the book once, you find out the answer.
Right.
Why would you have to guess every time you read it? I don't know. Unless it doesn't tell you, but that's weird. I just think you would know at first time, but whatever. Anyway, he stands up, turns around, faces the bed, gets down on his knees, and shoves a piece of cloth into the jar that he has there. I'm thinking at this point, he's going to set it on fire. I thought that's what he was going to do, but nope, that's not what it was. Then he says something super creepy. He goes, the darkness well, it's not really super creepy. I don't know why I have that there. The, the darkness that's all around you isn't a shadow. The darkness is me. And then he
Ooh! Sorry, I got excited there.
so scary. And then he flips the bed over. Girls are screaming. It's all chaotic. He grabs Maddie first, shoves the cloth over her face until she passes out. Then he does the same thing to Kayla. Then we cut to morning. So we get this quiet, kind of serene shot of the lake. The tea party table is back again, and now it's covered in those creepy childlike drawings. Sean's car is there, trunk open. You can see the machete handle sticking out, dripping blood. It's basically just a refresh of that opening where we see all the different things that they showed in the opening.
In the book? Didn't you say that stuff was in the book too?
Well, the drawings were in the book, but they
Yeah.
had shots of the car and the
Oh, okay,
machete,
okay.
all of those things, or
I got
they were
you.
kinda just showing us what they had shown us in the beginning. It was like a flashback, flash forward, whatever, I don't know.
A
It was
backflash
a flashy thing.
a
So
backflash.
so then we see Laura, and she starts to stir. She's been unconscious, probably from the blood loss or the head injury. I think she had a head I don't know if she had a head injury or not, but she has some blood loss, so but she's still alive. She starts coughing and growing.
Growing. Well, I mean, you're not wrong.
She's a little too old to be growing. She starts coughing and groaning, trying to move, and then John shows up again. He walks over, looks at her, and just yanks the axe out of her side and then walks away. He walks over to where he has the new tea party set up, same as we've seen before, but now it's fully decked out with those creepy life-size wooden figures of the family, like kind of like it was in the woods with Sean. Only now I realize well, first of all, they're not just wooden anymore. But the lower part of their body, the head is wood, the rest of their body is like cloth that he's stuffed. But what he has also done is he's replacing the stuffed parts of the body with actual human parts. So you can see on the dad figure the arm of Sean. He obviously cut Sean's arm off and attached it to this doll. And that's what he plans to do. He plans to, I guess, take all the body parts or whatever of the people and replace the doll parts. I want to get stinky
He
after a while. I wonder if he does. I wonder if he knows that.
I wonder if he listens to the band Hole.
God, I haven't listened to Hole in forever. So for the dad figure, Sean, he's attached Sean's arm to it, like I said. And then he took Sean's eyes and placed them into the carved face. Like he dug holes and he just jammed human eyes in those holes on the wooden head part. He then walks over to the girls, Kayla and Maddie, who are still passed out on the ground. He kneels by Maddie and uses his knife to measure her eye, which I don't know why, because he didn't seem to really follow it, the measurement. But then he heads back over to the dolls, and the ones he carved for the girls have painted eyes, but now he starts to carve those out in the Maddie one, I guess presumably to replace them with the real thing. While he's doing this, Kayla starts to wake up. She realizes they're still alive. She sees Maddie beside her, also still alive. And then she sees him crouched near the dolls working on carving the eyes out. She raises her head just a little to watch him, and then he turns around and looks in their direction, and she drops her head immediately, but there's
He
no way
doesn't.
he did not see her.
Well, obviously he didn't.
Well, yes, but I don't know how. And this happens like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, there's no way he's not seeing her. That's crazy. So this happens a few times and he's right there. It's just not believable that he didn't notice. Anyway, he's aggressively cutting the eyes out of this wooden doll, just going to town on it, which by the way, why I just don't know why he bothered measuring Maddie's eye because he was not, again, following the measurement because nothing about it is precise. He's just like, "Grr," cutting these holes out. Then he picks up the other doll, the one that's meant to represent Kayla, and lays it down on the ground. He starts cutting off its fake arm, the stuffed arm or whatever. Meanwhile, Kayla reaches over and tries to wake Maddie. Very obvious. Maddie, wake up, wake up, wake up. And he's not that far from them.
Right.
He looks over again. She quickly lays all the way back down. It wasn't just her head, it was her whole body. Lays back down again. No way he didn't see her, but fine, we'll go with it. So he's hacking at it, trying to get the arm off. And then he walks back over to the real girls. He's holding the axe now. He pulls Kayla's arm out and holds it straight out from her body, trying to figure out where to cut where the joint is and where to cut it. He, stands above her with the axe up. And just as it looks like he's about to chop her arm off, he hears something. It's a music box because that was one of the presents that Sean had gotten. And he freezes. He looks towards the sound, then starts walking slowly toward it. As he gets closer, he finds another present, which was one of the wrapped gifts that Sean bought, and it's been opened, and it's a teddy bear. So he picks it up. Then he keeps following the sound of the music box.
Well, it's rude that they opened it on him.
Yeah,
I
they
mean, they
should
could
have
have left it for him.
let it be a surprise.
Right.
Yeah. He keeps following the sound of the music box. He eventually reaches Sean's car, the one that the mom was in, Laura. The trunk is open. Inside is the music box, softly playing a tune, but the mom, gone.
Oh, no.
Ta-da! So he stares into the trunk, focused on the music box, not even stopping to ask the obvious question, which is, where is Laura? Like, are you not realizing she's not here? Laura comes up behind him and hits him with something. I didn't get to see what it was, but she hits him with it and it works. He, is like stunned and turns around, drops the axe. She grabs it and starts swinging at him. She's still injured, so she's kind of bent over, and her swing, she can only do it from the one side of her body that hasn't been stabbed, or not stabbed, but impaled with the
Well,
axe.
and that's the thing I have to say is that she's doing an amazing job at doing everything that she's doing with the massive amounts of blood she would have lost.
Yeah, I would think
Even if she survived, I mean, because she should be dead. But even if she survived, the massive amounts of blood that she lost, she's doing pretty damn good.
I guess it's mama bear energy.
Ah, yes, mama bear
Maybe.
energy. Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah, I heard that when that happens, that your body goes into overdrive and pumps a massive amount of blood into it. So like if you are missing any, it's just like right there to replace it. But it only works for that time frame.
And only for moms.
Moms, yes.
Right. Apparently, for whatever reason. She does manage to get a couple of good hits in. She hits him like in the knee And I think she just, like, hits him, like, with the backside of the axe. I don't think she, like, chops into it. But and at one point, he's choking her. She knees him in the balls really hard. It's a whole fight scene,
Which
back
is
and forth, back and
rude.
forth. Yeah.
You know, you don't go for the balls. I'm sorry. It's rude and
Well
it's against code.
well, it's only against code if you're a guy. But this back and forth thing goes on and for a while, and, you're not really sure who's gonna win, I guess, technically. But finally, she gets him pinned against the back of the car and drives the axe into his back. Now, here's where I said out loud, "Take that fucking axe and chop off his head. Chop off his head," because as we
Correct.
all know, these motherfuckers always come back.
Yep.
You have to cut off the head. Even if they're not a zombie, you have to cut off the head.
Exactly. You know, I mean, because you should be thinking, hey, you know, I lost all this blood and I can still do this.
Right.
So an axe to the back is going to be nothing to this guy. It's just going to be like a band aid.
Although, he can't have mama bear energy,
That's
and she
true.
did just knee him in the balls, so he's super weak now.
That's true. That is true. Yep.
So
Yep. No, point
but she
taken.
she still should have cut off his head. So we cut back to Kayla and Maddie. Kayla finally gets Maddie to wake up, and just as she does, they look up and they see their mom coming over the hill. Cue the waterworks. Everybody's, "Oh, yay, mom!"
Yay!
This time it's mommy, 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 and not daddy, daddy,
Yeah, it's
daddy.
about time, you know, they
Yeah.
recognize mom.
Shit. So they are, crying. Everyone runs to each other. They hug. It's a big emotional reunion. As they make their way to the car, we hear a voiceover. It's Kayla reading from that same book again, just like earlier in the film. And she's reading the end of it now. And her words play over as shots of them getting in the car. Laura puts the girls in the back seat. Before she gets in, she stops to look at the guy's body just to make sure he's still dead. Smart move, honestly. But like I said, cut off the head.
Right.
She looks back at the house one last time. She gets in and starts to drive. As they head up the driveway, Kayla turns to look out the back window, and we see the guy's body still laying there.
Well,
But
that's
of
good.
course, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good sign. But of course, car sputters, engine cuts out because, this is a horror movie and nothing is
True.
allowed to be easy, and we
Right.
have to have that. So, which is the thing I was referring to earlier. We were talking about the
Yes.
car before. But after a few nerve-wracking seconds and some frantic key turning, it finally starts again and they keep driving. So that's why I wondered if it was just like a making fun of
Right.
the trope,
Yeah, it
because they
could have
did
been.
not use that earlier and they did use it here, but it was only for a second and they were able to get going again. So then Kayla looks back one more time and says, "Mommy, where did he go?" And sure enough, shock and dismay. We cut to a
Jeez.
shot of the yard and the body gone.
I attribute it to ants.
I think they were filming A Bug's Life at the same time in the same place.
Right, right, right.
And they just probably, "Oh, food. We need this for the grasshoppers."
Right,
And there
exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
there
they
we
just
go.
cut that part out of the Bug's Life movie.
Right.
So, but of course, it's gone, but it's also the end of the movie. So, I don't know if they're planning a 2.
I
I can't
hope
remember.
not.
I didn't bother to look up to see when this movie was made.
Um,
I'm getting real lazy with the, info stuff because I also don't remember what I think I looked at the IMDb, but I can't remember what it was.
so I struggled with this movie.
Uh-huh.
I didn't really care for it all that much. Like, I really, really, truly didn't care if anybody lived or died because they didn't give you enough emotional connection to them,
Yeah.
you know. And like I said, you know, I say it jokingly, but it does annoy me with certain characters when, you know, all of a sudden they're just like, I can't move. Well, you know, come on, man. You know, you're gonna kill everybody here. You know,
Right.
because like we love you and shit, and you're gonna kill us all, you know, because you're selfish.
Right. Yeah, get your shit together.
I mean, what I did like about it was that they did do their best to try to throw different suspects in there, you know, to
Right.
try to make it look like, because I mean, it really did look like Sean in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like the way they were setting it up in basic storytelling, that was really setting it up for that. And then, like, when he was running late,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
that made me think more that this is going to be kind of like Your Next. It was going to be something like that.
Right.
Then when Owen came into play, you know, say, all right, maybe it's this guy because he was kind of creepy himself, and then like the midnight rendezvous of trying to figure out if everybody was okay, sort of thing, you know,
Yeah.
without knowing if there was anything actually wrong to check on.
Right.
That was a little weird,
Just a car. Yeah.
right? So I mean, there was a couple good parts about it that I did like, but overall, it wasn't one of my favorites, and I don't need to go back to it.
Yeah. Right.
So I mean, for me, I'd probably give it like a 4.5.
Okay. I do want to say the two girls, I'm assuming they're sisters in real life because they have the same last name. One is Anna Pniowski and the other one is Abigail Pniowski.
That name.
It's Pniowsky. I don't know if the P is silent. Maybe it's Niowski or it's Pniowski.
Right.
But it was made in 2018 and it has a 5.3 out of 10 on IMDb. But yeah, I agree. I feel like this is going to be a movie that I'll forget, like
Yeah.
whatever, what happened, like what the fuck happened in this movie. I know
Right.
I've seen it, but I can't remember anything about it. Although I think I think the thing I did like the most about the movie was the book. I did like the book and I wish that were a real book.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good story. And the way they had it written, it was clever. Because I'm sure the answer is a shadow. They didn't really tell you. I think that yeah, there wasn't enough backstory to the characters to make you care about them at all. I think the
Right.
only ones that I might have had any sort of oomph for was the dad, maybe. I mean, I don't know why, but but I guess because they made him like look like he was going to be the bad guy, and then he turned out not to be the bad guy. Same thing with Owen. I kind
Right.
of like had a preference to him as well. But again, it could have just been because they made them both look like they were going to potentially be the bad guy and they weren't.
Right.
But yeah, and I do like that they didn't like they had the wheels come off the car, not your typical horror trope. That was
Right.
a good
Yep.
one. I liked that. And there were some things, but nothing. I wish I'd known what it was about the cupcake that made her sick. Like, what did he put in there? Like,
Right.
what was it? And was she allergic to it at the same time? Whatever it was, because she had an allergic reaction. Unless
Yeah.
she had an allergic reaction to something else, and it's
Um,
just a coincidence,
maybe like she has a ribbon intolerance.
right? Who doesn't? Like, so so
People with
yeah,
pica.
yeah. But yeah, I have no. It was like it was a movie. It exists.
Right. It's there. It had actors, actresses, kids,
Right. I mean, it wasn't
credits.
unlike like last week's movie, which was obviously a better movie. I thought, was that last week's movie? No, shit. It was last week's movie to me because I edited it last week. But the movie, the influencer movie where they're in Russia.
Oh, No
Follow
Escape.
Me, No Escape, Follow Me. The one that's out right now
Yeah.
this week. Like that one is one that because we often talk about if it came up, if we could go through channels and I saw it, I'd watch it. But this one, I don't think I would. They're like,
Yeah, no.
there's
I,
nothing about it that's interesting at all.
yeah, I would turn it off.
And the fact that the dude talks fucked it up for me
Right.
totally.
Yeah.
So, but I'd give it a 3. I don't even know if I'd give it enough of her.
Well,
But it's just
I
like,
I get it.
you know, they're close. 3 or 4. It's all sucks.
Right. Exactly.
So, anyway, anything else you'd like to enlighten our huge fan base with?
We put a sock on it.
Sock applied. All right. And that wraps up He's Out There, a film that proves once and for all that remote family getaways are really just murder vacations waiting to happen. If your idea of healing in nature involves being chased through the woods by a DIY doll maker with an axe, then congrats. This one hit home. Next week, we're diving into...
Villains, 2019 film.
So, Villains, where can we find that? Do you know?
Tubi.
Tubi, right. Next week, Villains, find it on Tubi. Watch it before we watch it, or watch it while we're watching it.
Not that you know when we'll be watching it.
Just try and figure it out.
Yes.
And we'll just watch it so that we can all talk about it. We can pretend to talk to you about it next week. Until then, be scared, be prepared, and don't get caught in the dark.